On the agenda tonight, I'm going to be joined by Chris Liepe, and together we're going to be having a listen to Since I've Been Loving You by Led Zeppelin. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So we have a very special video tonight because I'm going to be joined by vocal coach, vocal extraordinaire, Chris Liepe, who is joining me live as we talk. Hello, Chris. How are you doing?
We're doing great. Thanks for having me on the channel.
So tonight we're going to be having, and it's my pleasure, thank you for joining me. So tonight we're going to be taking a look at Since I've Been Loving You by Led Zeppelin, and just picking your brains about that lead vocal and what a lead vocal it is, because recently you've done a cover of this particular song, so you're going to be able to walk us through a few things that Robert Plant is doing.
Yeah, covering this song was really difficult, and when I set out to cover it, I set out to do a one-take cover. So I wasn't going to do the whole, okay, I'm going to sing this line and then punch in, and then it was going to be set the cameras, set the track, and go all the way through. And so I really had to put myself in a very specific musical vocal posture to make this happen. And a lot of Led Zeppelin covers and a lot of Guns N' Roses covers, and there's some other bands out there, Bon Jovi probably as well. There are an awful lot of female vocalists covering these songs because the range that these guys sing in are comfortable for a natural alto female singer. Not so comfortable unless you really know your technique and you really know the approach. Not so comfortable for your average male singer, particularly a baritone singer, which I'm a high baritone. So having done the cover and then going back and reacting to the original performance, and I know, Phil, you have some graphs and stuff that we can look at the quality of the notes and study the quality of the different timbres. This is going to be really fun, so I'm excited to do this.
I'm excited as well, and yeah, I have seen your cover video as well, and what I love about that video, I'm going to put a link to that actually in the description below, so people can check that out so that they can at least see what we're referring to. But what I love about that video is it's not just a cover. I mean, yeah, doing it in one take is something that I'm sure is really rare on YouTube anyway, to find a cover that's actually someone singing it the whole way through just one time, as you say, rather than kind of punching in, having your comp takes and, doing it, or maybe doing it once every 5 days and then take your best bit of every 5 days and then upload it in the final video. I'll share my screen to your screen so that you can see what I'm doing. What do you think would be best?
Yeah, let's go right where he comes in. I think that sounds good.
Working from 7.
Working from 7.
I mean, just listening to you there, it's not like a it's quite a thin quite a thin sound. So
exactly, there's this sense, and this is something that I had to embrace listening to a lot of different takes or different versions of this song. They've done one live for BBC, the studio recording, and then there's several others floating around there. Every time it's very different because it is this sort of improvised melody. But one thing that he does, he always starts very contemplative, working from 7 to 11 every night. I mean, that's neither high nor low, neither loud nor soft. I mean, it's this very middle of the road contemplative approach. And he grows and he arcs his phrases in such a way that is so engaging. You can't plan it. You have to be in a particular mindset in order to do it well.
If you were to approach this and try and sing it the same way, or you'd fall into the trap of forcing it out, and that's never going to get you anywhere. And I say in a lot of my analysis videos about that part of the voice that's most efficient being just past your vocal fry and not too far, because I think a lot of people, and again, I'll be guilty of this, going too far past vocal fry to kind of, once you've got your chords connected, it's then going, and doing too much of that.
Right.
But, so effectively adding a bad compression rather than a compression where you're still relaxed.
Correct.
Which,
that's a huge thing. And you'll hear as we listen on here, you're going to hear him ease into that and then ease out of it. And that's part of the tugging on your heart that we hear every time he sings.
Listen to this next phrase.
211 here and there. Really makes life a drag.
Really makes it drag. I mean, that what I like about this version, he really da 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 da.
Yeah.
He's kind of galloping on top of that rhythm, and there's not a whole lot of sustain either. He's being almost a percussion instrument here, which when you look at this pitch graph, just hone in on that drag. Just drag.
Let's just play that again.
Makes life a drag.
Here we go. So we've got the na 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 na, and it's rhythmic and it's not na.
Right.
It's not making too much of. I mean, as soon as you start doing that, it's now singing rather than I'm telling you a story. I'm talking to you.
Yeah. And look at the pitch. I mean, the pitch, it's a very broad representation of pitch. It's not a note. And you're going to see that all over Robert Plant. That, in the version that I did, I don't think pitch correction would have even worked to use, because the delivery is supposed to not be accurate.
Yeah.
Right. And you're going to see that here too. If you tried to pitch correct this, it would ruin it.
He also has that tendency to, at the end of a line, actually put in, I mean, I wouldn't really class it as vibrato, even though technically, it would be, but it's more of a na 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 na. It's like a no. You hear a quick change in that pitch that isn't held. It's almost like, a couple of waves of vibrato if you're lucky, but it's kind of always in there and really wide. It's
a bit of an abandon. Drag, where there's some vibrato, there's an element of vibrato, but it's this, if I were to exaggerate it, it would be, here's the note, drag, and then I would abandon out of it, just kind of drag. And you hear him do that. That's an extreme version of what this is, and there's more pressure there. But you hear this all over Led Zeppelin stuff while Robert Plant is imitating Page's guitar and stuff like that. There's almost this where he starts on a particular pitch and then abandons out of it. And it's this sort of squeak. And that's in subtleness. You pointed it out perfectly. That's happening here in a very subtle way. Let's listen on.
I've really been the best of food. I did what I could, yeah. Of course I love you, baby. How I love you, darling. How I love you, baby. Mama love you, girl. Little girl.
All right. So, first of all, we have this. We get into that Robert Plantville, right? And then it's, I've really been the best.
Yeah.
The best of fools. When he goes up there, he doesn't sound all that different. Like, you kind of expect him to go there, not only because you've been listening to him for 60 years or whatever, but because of the posture he has down here. He's not saying, how I love you, babe. It's more of this, how really been the best. He's got this sort of, I'll call it grody, twangy sort of sound.
Yeah.
And if I'm just going to talk like that, I did what I could, man. This is the posture. This is a thinner resonance that encourages this conversational mixed voice sound. And so even as a lower voice, if I have this sort of sound about me, this sort of resonance and sensation, I can sing way higher. I can speak way higher than I would normally be comfortable speaking because it's the way I've placed the resonance. This is why when people try to hit high notes in their normal chest voice and their normal chest resonance and vocal positioning, they do it with too much strain. You can't do that. Robert Plant has programmed himself, probably accidentally, just by shouting over guitar amps, to create a sound that cuts, that rises above the rest of the band. And he's using, you can call it twang, you can call it hypernasality, you can call it mixed voice. This is the first hint we get of that. They've really been the best of fools. He's got that range because he understands how to place his resonance, period.
Something that I'll just throw in is that when you're listening to his voice, because it's all in that same place, it's got the same sound to it, it's so tonally consistent from bottom to top. When you then try and sing this yourself, that, being a C5, it doesn't sound like a C5. So you might just relax into it and think, oh, let me just sing along. And then you go, hang on, what? What note was that? And then you realize that you don't notice it because he doesn't sound like you said, it sounds like he's going up there. He's naturally going up there. It's not like he's approaching it like that. Oh, that's my highest note. Let me try and get everything that I need to get there. He's just straight into it in exactly that same place, tonally, that he was. So, yeah, that's the other thing that's deceptive about, well, just in general, listening to Robert Plant sing. Let's jump into it, hear a bit more.
Baby, since I've been loving you, yeah, I'm about to lose my worried mind. Ah, yeah.
So you hear it there.
Yeah.
The baby, since I've been loving you down here. Baby, since I've been loving you, yeah. This is not baby, since I've been loving you. And that's not very chesty, right?
Yeah.
He has, and I just want to point this out again over a different line. He has that posture of, baby, since I've been loving you, yeah. It's thin. And then by the time he's up to the, I'm about to lose my worried mind. Oh, yeah. Baby, since it's the same posture. We are already thin, even though we're low. That's where 99% of people who try to cover Robert Plant mess up. They don't get in the posture while they're low and relaxed, and then it's impossible for them to get up to that same mixed voice posture when they're high.
I mean, quick shout out for your vocal course as well, and things that people can get involved with. I mean, listening to this, I know that a lot of people, certainly on my channel, who say, oh, I can't sing, I can't do this, I can't do that. But I think there's a lot to be said for just practicing and, not expecting yourself to instantly sing like this. I'm really tempted to, get a guitar out and go through some of that because, I mean, I love the freeform nature of it, but some of the work that Jimmy's doing here, like you said about the vocal, different takes or different versions of this song are totally different.
Yeah.
And you can get into so much, even just on the guitar, the way that it's just, you can tell that he's just got his volume down to kind of 3, maybe 2 really clean. He's taken all of that distortion out of the sound and then he's going to roll it off as we go through. But we will jump into it again.
So you can hear how light, and there's rasp, there's this sense that he's in full voice right here, but it's light. It is not all out. There's this freedom that he has. As we continue to listen on here, just keep that in mind. There is freedom, and there is imprecision. We can see this as we are watching the graph go by. Yeah. He's able to be light and free because he is imprecise, willfully imprecise. And this is what makes Robert Plant tick. He is willfully imprecise and therefore free and dynamic. If you as a vocalist have the pressure on yourself to hit the pitch, to get to that note, to reach the, whatever, you won't get there. And even if you do get there, you're going to be tense, you're going to be pretentious and out of context. The reason it works is because he doesn't care if he hits the note. Keep that in mind as we keep going here.
Yeah.
I've been working from 7 to 11 every night.
Conversation.
Drag.
So this section here, I talk about this on my channel some, and certainly in the context of this song, this idea of vocal budgeting, where he's been light, he's been dancing around, I love you, and then we get into this, that's right, and we're really cutting loose again with that same sort of thinner mixed posture. But he's not doing that the whole song. And we get into this mode where we're practicing, or we have this expectation, that Robert Plant wail was so amazing. Yeah, it happens maybe 3 times in this whole song out of 7 minutes, And if you listen to things live, it's even different. So keep the bar that you set for yourself as a performer and as a vocalist. We all have a certain amount of vocal energy we can spend. Save some vocal energy for these moments, and the rest of the time, let yourself dance around. It's about entertaining and engaging, not about having something to improve, not about having something to prove.
And I think that people watching any performance, they're never going to be disappointed hearing somebody nail the high note, but they're always going to be disappointed at someone who constantly can't quite get the high note because they're trying to do it all the time.
Yeah, that's a really good way to say it.
So, due to the analysis video collaboration going on for a little bit longer than normal, I'm going to be cutting the video into 2 parts, and I'll be releasing part 2 very soon. So make sure that you are subscribed, that you hit that notification bell so you don't miss that second video. But thank you guys for watching this one. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!